Hi, I'm Adrian Starks. I'm a best-selling author, keynote speaker, and the founder of Champion Up, and I am a guest today on The Inspiring Show.
Welcome to The Inspiring Show with Paul and Jennifer Hensel, featuring inspiring interviews with thought leaders, storytellers, entrepreneurs, influencers, and legacy builders just like you. Learn from experts about finding your voice, mastering your mindset, and creating movements with your message. Tap into timeless wisdom and today's top strategies for transcending to new levels of success, happiness, and joy.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here today at The Inspiring Show. My name is Jennifer Hensel.
And I'm Paul Hensel.
We're so excited about our guest today, Adrian Starks.
Man, I love that guy. His energy is contagious.
He's so motivational. So I first met Adrian through Karen McGregor, who is our speaking mentor. And I was doing the marketing calls for her monthly mastermind. And then Adrian came on and he was doing motivational calls to get the members pumped up. And boy, people just love Adrian. He's so inspiring and so motivational.
He has a great message, very consistent, and he created his brand, the Champion Up movement.
Yes. So we got to know Adrian through Karen's Rock the Stage program, and he's going to be sharing his journey with us today.
Adrian Starks is a keynote speaker, best-selling author, personal development coach, and founder of Champion Up. He shares the Champion Up movement with 16 years in the human development and achievement field. To overcome difficult challenges, Adrian discovered that to start winning in life, changes had to occur with a set system in place to help condition habits and behaviors for lasting change. His mission is to help those feeling stuck, scared, lost, or unfulfilled to create a life of meaning and fulfillment by offering courageous solutions of change to up-level creativity and make an impact in one's world.
We hope you enjoy this interview with Adrian Starks.
Well, welcome, Adrian, to the Inspiring Show. Thanks for being here. It's a pleasure to have you as a guest and to finally be able to sit down and have a deeper conversation.
I'm excited about this, Paul. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Oh, you're welcome. Now, we originally met because we share the same mentor, Karen McGregor.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
How long ago was that? Was that I think, wow, it's been a while.
It has.
Maybe a couple of years.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know she's helped me a lot, coached me with my TED Talk too. So yeah, that's really good. She's inspiring. And yeah.
She's truly inspiring. You know, the last time I saw her, I think it was back 4 years ago at an event.
Oh, really?
And she was on stage and I didn't even know who she was at first. And this person said, "That's Karen McGregor." And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
When she's on stage and she's speaking, she said 2 words that resonated with me: legacy speaker.
Legacy
And
speaker.
when she said that,
Yeah.
it just rung a bell inside of me, and I knew that this was a person I was going to learn more from down the road.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. I knew right away I wanted to work with her. Just she's real and inspiring.
Absolutely.
So yeah. Yeah, that was really good. Now, you know, I also want to say, Adrian, I love your message. You know, what you put forth on social media is always consistent and positive. And I just respect and admire that. So yeah, I like it. Like your message, what you're about. So now I've heard your story, but could you please share your inspiring story with us and what challenges you faced to get to this point?
Absolutely. You know, so my company is Champion Up, and people want to know why did I call it Champion Up? Well, a little back end of this. My nickname is the Champ. I was given this nickname by my uncle in a very young age. And so throughout my whole life, I was seen as this tenacious person. I never gave up. I was always finding things to challenge myself with, and I did not stop until I figured out a way how to complete those things. So I was just given the name Champ.
Nice.
And Yeah. And so over time, I did not know that this was going to require a huge responsibility to live up to that name. And this came from the, consistent challenges and changes that came along the way. So about 5 years ago, I went through an unexpected divorce. And at
Mhm.
that time, I was like, why is this happening? But now I'm like, thank goodness it happened. But what it did for me was it shifted my paradigm of thinking about life, of trying to control everything and everyone.
Yeah.
And this also opened up a door for me because I was in a job for 8 years. I worked at a call center, Paul, sitting at a desk at a call center for 8 years. Could you imagine me, this talkative guy at a call center in a cubicle? For 8 years, I was there because it was comfortable, it was safe, it was secure.
Oh,
And I just wouldn't leave because I thought this was how life was. But there was
wow.
something deep inside of me during this time, and during the time of working there, I knew that I wanted to get out and inspire people because I had always done poetry and I did spoken word pieces at certain cafes around the cities, and I was known for that. And I just knew
Wow.
this was like something I wanted to do. I did not know at that time that that was a prelude to the inspirational and motivational speaking I'd be doing as I'm doing now with companies and clients and schools and things. So when that happened, the divorce, it put me into a situation where I realized that there were some changes that were happening, but what could I do to make my own changes? And so within the last 2 years of working at the call center, I realized that this was not where I wanted to be. And how could I create a life that I wanted to live? Getting out there, living my passion, not being afraid to show myself for who I really am.
Yeah.
So the last 2 years of working at that call center, I call it the transition phase, where I began working on a way of getting out of there. And so I had to stay in this position where I had to create this environment mentally in my head of knowing that I'm here. I don't want to be here, but what can I do while I'm here until I exit? Thus, this is how courageous creating came about. Courageous creating the lifestyle and the environment that you want. And thus Champion Up was born. And the
Nice.
reason why, yeah, the reason why I chose Champion Up is
Yeah.
because I was that champion in my life, because I constantly went through the challenges and obstacles and I overcame everything. And I still do to this day. I have challenges and obstacles. But as I began researching champions, because the last 2 years of working at that call center, I was going to workshops on psychology, personal development, personal growth. I was going to seminars. I was driving all over the place. But I was curious about what the word champion actually meant if I was going to embrace that. And it came to me through multiple researching of books and reading. Champion is a human being, an advocate, someone who pushes for a cause or a vision. What we were taught as a society is that a champion is a competitor. A
Yeah.
champion is a person who wins. That's
That's right.
somewhat true. That's not to debunk anything that, if someone's a champion and they're an athlete or they're a champion of any type of field of interest, I am not taking that away in any way. But what I'm saying is that we are missing the other half of the definition, that is the human being behind that skill set. So anyone can be a champion in their field of interest if they are conditioning themselves to take on challenges and to actively create change. So I decided to make it to be a verb or a phrase, champion up. Can't just say you're a champion. You got to live like one. You got to feel like one. You got to act like one.
Nice. I love that. That is an excellent explanation for why you chose Champion Up. I
Thank
love
you.
that. So now, I mean, that divorce must have been really hard on you. And
It
that
was hard
probably,
at the time. Yeah, it was hard because I didn't see it coming. But here's the thing, though, Paul. I'm very grateful for everything that has happened in my life. I believe, like Mother Teresa said, people come into your life for two reasons: either to teach you a lesson or they're a blessing. And sometimes I
yeah,
find that the lesson is the blessing. And so even during that short term of the marriage, I
yeah,
wasn't doing what I loved to do. I was just being this everyday person going to the call center job, thinking that all I got to do is pull a paycheck, take care of the bills, smile, be a good friend, a spouse, and do whatever the other person wants. And I lost myself that way. And that was the wake up call for me to say, look, you have to not be afraid to go out here in the world and to be yourself, show up, do what you love, and everything else will come into place as it should.
excellent. And now at that time, I believe you were living in Seattle, weren't you?
Absolutely. I was living in Seattle during that time, and talk about changes, right? So
Yeah.
I was in Seattle and I said to myself, you know what? I want to give Vancouver a try, because I had been driving back and forth to Vancouver like every month, attending seminars and workshops. And people were asking me here in the area, they're like, hey, are you living here now? And I said, no. They said, well, you're always here.
Yeah.
And then it dawned upon me, like, what am I doing? Why don't I move and try this out and see how it resonates with me? And it feels really well. And the funny thing is that Seattle and Vancouver, very similar when it comes to terrain. The people here are a lot nicer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
People in Seattle are nice too, but the people in Vancouver are a lot nicer.
Yeah, they are. I've always loved the people down there, but I'm really glad that you enjoy it here. And
I enjoy it. The people here are amazing. The
awesome.
Environment's amazing.
Well, it's great to have the Adrian Starks closer by. So that's
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah. Now, around like the champion up, and you kind of talked about that other half of the definition, which I just love. But now, like you were an athlete, weren't you?
Yes, I was an athlete all throughout my school years. And the funny thing is that I was supposed to, I had a scholarship to play tennis, and it was high hopes of me of being a professional tennis player. And this was when I was in high school, and I got into college. I had an opportunity for a scholarship. At the last minute, I decided that I didn't want the scholarship.
Wow.
And my father was mad at me for about a good full year.
Yeah.
But he got over it. We had our talk about it, and he respected me for making that decision. This, once again, is standing up for what's true to you. I love playing tennis, but I didn't feel like it was something I wanted to spend the majority of my life playing.
Yeah.
It was something that I just felt like I love doing it, but I don't want to make a career out of it. And also during that time, I was involved in martial arts. I competed, I taught. And so I was pretty much the all-around athlete.
Awesome. Now, you've had some success in martial arts, haven't you?
Yeah, I have a first-degree black belt in Taekwondo.
First-degree black belt.
Yeah, and I competed in a couple of tournaments, got second place in some, and third place in others. And then it was one day, I think I got kicked in the head pretty hard, and I saw stars, and I was like, okay, is this something that I want to continue doing?
Yeah.
I mean, we get kicked a lot, but that day it was like, do I really want to keep doing this? Do I really want to keep, using my brain and not, be damaged by it? Because it was a wake up call for me. So I decided not to be on the competitive level anymore.
Cool. Well, like I've already learned a few more things about you in the first few minutes here, and you're very well-rounded. So you first degree black belt, but you've also done some poetry and stuff like that. So you got the soft side and the tough side.
Man, I consider myself like the modern day Renaissance man,
Right.
All around. And this is the thing too. I like to talk to people about the balance. We find that we think that success is this thing where we obtain these things. That's called achievement.
Yeah.
Reality of success is how we navigate ourselves through our own personal philosophy about life. So if you do have a passion for something, you may not have to get paid for it, just do it. And if you do it well enough and do it enough and you can serve people with it, you'll get paid for it.
Yeah.
Nice. I think it was Wayne Dyer. He said that there's no scarcity and opportunity of doing what you love. There's only scarcity of resolve to make it happen. And that scarcity of resolve is what a lot of people fall into. So I find that to be a well-rounded person, have other means of interest, because this is the balance of life that brings you fulfillment, that allows you to experience some happiness on different levels. Nice.
Really good. So now developing success as an athlete, now, and I've coached, but that requires both physical and mental focus, determination, and the ability to adapt. So Absolutely. Have you found these skills transition well into the business, and your personal life?
Absolutely. I take what I have learned through that. And I have a degree in exercise physiology. So there's another aspect of me. When I was in college, I majored in exercise physiology because I was intrigued by the biomechanics of the human body and physiologically how it works with stress and how we can adapt.
Oh,
So here's the thing, the human body, we are engineered for stress. And if we condition ourselves to deal with stress, I call this creating our own challenges, we can learn how to become stronger throughout the unexpected challenges that come about. This is the key with athletes. They are powerful not because they do everything perfectly. They're powerful because they're continuously putting themselves into a state of stress, of constant building and learning. And that gives them the ability to take on those challenges from a different perspective. So I take that and I bring it into my coaching. So I'm a personal development coach and I work with people. And this allows me to really show them that, look, you may not have this thing right now, but we can tweak, we can condition, we can strengthen certain aspects to make this thing shine if you really want to. I can't make you.
yeah.
If you really want to.
Awesome. Really good. So tell us, why is change such a challenge for people?
You know, it's such a challenge because I find that if you look at the word challenge,
Yeah.
inside that word is change. It's hidden.
Yeah.
We get challenged because we don't see changes coming about half the time. Corporations, organizations, people who are in business for themselves, any type of structure. When there's an unexpected change and people can't see it coming, they're not prepared. So there is a resistance naturally to not go with the flow, to not make our own changes, to adapt, because we are in what we call survival mode. We are protecting ourselves from this thing that's currently threatening to us. And that's why people see change as such a challenge, because most changes are unexpected. If you ask someone, hey, would you like to create this better life? And they would say, yeah, because they are in the driver's seat. They can tell you what they want. But if you come to someone and say, hey, guess what? You're going to have to move today. They're like, where? Where am I going? They don't like that because it's unexpected. And so that's where a lot of people get stuck and frustrated, is because they don't see the changes coming. And this is why the conditioning factor of when you learn to create your own changes, when you do have unexpected change, you have the tools and you have the resources and the skill set to adapt to that change by simply creating your own changes within that change.
Yeah, very true. And change is also uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable because we like to know what's going on. The human brain is like, it is a one task oriented organ. It does not like to be pulled in different directions, contrary to what we have been taught as a society, that multitasking is the way to go. And as entrepreneurs and business owners, you know this, Paul, we do have to multitask.
Yeah.
We have no choice.
Yeah.
But our brain prefers one task at a time. So if it's blindsided by something that it wasn't expecting, immediately it goes into this, I have to protect you mode. And then we start having the emotional things that come up that may have been pent down that associates fear. So therefore, here comes the worrying, here comes the frustration, and here comes the stress.
Chaos.
You know, it's funny about chaos. I see chaos as things coming apart that we do not want to come apart, that we do not understand, so that things can come together that we do need for our better growth. And so when the chaos is going on, we're so quick to say, I don't want this to happen. But what's happening is things are unraveling so that you can see clearly. This is what I mean by like the 20/20 vision. You can see what's going on within this chaos. Is there something that you can identify and you can say, wait a minute, this is actually a good thing, this piece moving around. This is actually a good thing that this person maybe have canceled their appointment with me. This may be a good thing that I may not have got that opportunity to do that talk. This may be a good thing that I was late here, if we look at it differently.
Yeah, for sure. So that leads well into my next question. Can we condition ourselves to overcome, these difficult challenges, this chaos?
Yes, we can. We can certainly condition ourselves. But the key also is to allow ourselves to feel whatever emotion that's coming up at that time. So I will not say to someone to be completely numb and just say, go get it and be fearless. Because for me, there's no such thing as being fearless, because biologically we are wired to have fear to protect us. I am not going to go out in the middle of the Australian Ocean to swim when I know there's great whites out there, as much as I love the water.
Right.
I'm not going to do that. That's just my fear. You know, I'm not going to go into a mountain somewhere I know there's grizzly bears because that's my fear, right? So it sort of protects me biologically from doing something really stupid that could harm me. So the fear will always be there. But what I mean is to fear less, not be fearless, but to fear less. That little space in between is where we can take a look at what is going on. Is this life threatening? If it is not, I need to make a move on it and step toward it.
Nice. That's really good. So now, is there a system that we can put in place to help develop better habits, to help with, being more fearless?
Absolutely. There's a system I have it where we learn to accept the changes, then we learn to address the changes, and then we learn to embrace the changes. So when we accept something, we say, okay, this is happening. This is happening, and I can fight it, waste my time and energy and get exhausted, or I can say, let's figure out a way to champion up and how can I deal with this? So accepting means looking at that thing from a different perspective. What can you get out of it?
Yeah.
How can you resolve it? When we look at it from the second step of addressing it, finding the humor in it. Like sometimes you look at things, they're quite funny. You look back and you're like, oh man, why was I even going there with that? Why did I even get pulled into that argument with that person? What is wrong with me today?
Yeah.
If we look at it and we say, okay, this is the problem. Maybe it's not this thing. Maybe it's just how I reacted to it. That's how we address it. And then when we embrace it, we can actually look for resources. You can say, this has happened. I'm addressing it now. I'm dealing with it. I'm taking action on it. So I need some help. Reaching out for help is how we embrace it. And then that allows us to get through that unexpected change. So first is taking a look at it differently. Second is just finding some humor in it. Saying, okay, if this happens, then what? I'm not going to die. This is not going to happen, So we have to look at it as not life threatening. And then 3, we look at it for a system of reaching out for help. Awesome. A resource, talking to someone, reading a book, listening to something that can give you an idea or an optimism about approaching it a little bit differently. Excellent. And this was just quick, easy steps.
Yeah, no, for sure. So talking about embracing change, now what does it mean to grow forward, and why is that important for a successful life and career?
Ooh, you're speaking my language now, Paul.
All right.
I just lit up when you said that. So the growing forward. So here's the thing. Talking about the word grow.
Yeah.
We think that we grow physically and we stop. And that is it when it comes to maturity of growth. Growth is not physical. Growth is a system of thoughts, behaviors, and actions. So when we grow forward, we're actually looking at what can I learn from this situation, this chaos that we talked about earlier, right?
Yeah.
And what tools did I learn from this? What can I gather to take it into my next challenge, to my next obstacle, and use that? That's what it means to grow forward, to learn from what that experience was and take the strong points from it and move forward with it. And that's why I say not just go, but grow forward.
Yeah, I love that.
And grow to me means get real on winning.
Yeah. Champion up mindset.
If you want to win, you got to grow forward, not just go. Because if you go for it, you may be missing something. You're not paying attention to what was valuable about that encounter. But if you grow forward, you're carrying that thing with you that you can now use as a resource for the next thing that's going to come up, because it will. As you grow more, there are going to be more challenges, there are going to be more problems and more obstacles. And that is just how life works, to condition us to become better, because we're here as human beings to do 3 things: to learn, grow, and to fully express ourselves.
That's right. And so grow is coming before you're fully expressing yourself. So embrace the change to move forward.
Yes.
Because really, if we're not doing that, we're getting stuck and moving backwards.
We shrink backwards, actually. And that's the thing. It's like things are constantly moving. There's nothing in this world that grows by standing still. This is why when organizations, you hear about big organizations, they were so huge and all of a sudden they just disappear off the face of the earth. It's because there were so many changes going about that some people may not have adjusted to those changes and grew forward with what was necessary, what was needed. And all of a sudden the whole thing stops and stands still. And then at that point it sinks, it goes backwards. The same thing with people. If we don't grow forward, we get stuck and we shrink backwards, thinking back in the past, living back in the past, only hoping that we could have some remnants of a better future.
Awesome. Now, how do you find opportunities within the challenges of change?
Ooh, great question. The same thing about the word challenge and looking at the word challenge and finding change with that. So opportunities will always be there clamoring to be noticed. If we slow it down and we look at what is available to us, the resources, the time, the energy, our attitude, we can find opportunities in almost anything. A quick story. When I was a young boy, between the ages of 10 and 12, my parents used to take me to my grandfather's house so I could go on these trips with him during the summer to work. I couldn't stand it because he was this older guy. He had a cigar always in his mouth and he had a hat on his head and he never said my name the right way. He always say Aaron, not Adrian, but Aaron. And I would get in his big truck and we would go on these long journeys and he collected junk. Now, at that time, when I first started, I thought it was the worst thing in the world. But what I figured out was that he was an entrepreneur. We would go drive for about 2 hours to the places far away. And he would buy broken down motors, carburetors, anything from people that wanted to get rid of junk.
Yeah.
Now, here's a beautiful thing. When we would come back from those trips back to his house, he would take me in the backyard and he would give me a hammer and he would say, I want you to crack this thing open. And I said, okay, not getting what this is. So I would crack it open. This is my first encounter. And inside was copper wire. And this wire, if you have enough of it by the pounds, you can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I call it the common man's or the common fool's gold because a lot of people had it and they didn't know what to do with it. So we always got it. It was so common. And we would take it and weigh it. And he would end up with at least $3,000 or $4,000 every single time we go out. And imagine him handing a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, or 12-year-old about $200 of that.
Oh, wow.
And so I learned from that about finding opportunities within challenges. If we can take whatever we have, the problem, and strategically look at it, not to meddle over it and say, oh no, but to say, okay, I've got a problem. How do I pick this thing apart and look at what can I use, what is not useful? And then you can do that with every single problem.
Yeah.
And if you can do that and slow yourself down, you can find the opportunity somewhere.
Well,
guaranteed.
It's conditioning our mind. It's looking for those opportunities, choosing to be positive. Because if you're looking for obstacles, you're going to find them.
You're certainly going to find them, Paul. I so agree with you because we always look to worst case scenario. I always tell people that I work with, well, I need to prepare for this. Well, I understand to be prepared, but wouldn't you want to be prepared for something that you're wanting to happen?
Yes.
I would rather spend my energy doing that. And if it doesn't happen, it comes up, then, hey, I'll deal with it. But
that's right.
I'm going to spend my energy focusing on what I want to happen.
That's right. And see what you just said, if it doesn't, well, you've learned from it. And that doesn't mean you're quitting. That means you're going to find another way and you're going to get to where you want to be.
Absolutely. And this is where I feel that as a society, this is why I'm here. I want human beings to understand how powerful they can create things if they were to courageously step into the responsibility of looking at life and saying, nothing's going to be perfect. I'm not going to have this handed to me. I have to make the change. And I've got to decide why I'm making the change, how important it is to me, and what I want to do when that change happens. That's how magic happens.
Nice. Yeah, this is exactly why I wanted to have you on as a guest.
Well,
Iron
thank you.
stuff. I love it, Adrian. I love it.
Thank you.
Um, so that great stuff, great insight, great tips. And, you know, this is what I talked about earlier. Your message is just consistent, inspiring. And, you know, you really embraced change, what's happened to you to move forward, but then to help other people. And that's what life is about, isn't it?
It's to help other people. We're all here to serve some group of people. That's why we have different skill sets, different abilities, because we're here to do something. Now, here's the beautiful thing about human nature. We can decide if we want to do that or not. We're the only other life force on this planet that's not just driven by genetic code and instinct. We have more than that. We have the ability to choose, which is why some people do what they love and some people don't.
Yeah.
And I believe we are here to collectively serve our human race, to serve the planet. And this is why I think it's important for us to understand this new era of 2020 vision. People say, well, it's about perfect vision. No, it's not. No one has perfect vision.
Yeah.
I wear contacts. I wear glasses. If you ask someone on the street, they have perfect vision. They're probably going to tell you they don't. And even if they do have perfect vision, I guarantee you they're missing out on something in their life because they're not paying attention. So no one has perfect vision. I think it was Helen Keller. She said, what's worse, being blind or having eyes and not seeing?
Oh.
And Helen Keller was a literary champion, and she was stricken with a disease at the age of, I think, 5 that left her both deaf and blind.
Yeah.
And she said, what's worse, being blind or having eyes and not seeing? And a lot of people are not seeing things out there. So I want people to collectively look at what can you do right now while you have this time on planet Earth to become a better human, to become wiser, and to become stronger, and to create something that both you and the people that you love can remember you by.
For sure.
That's what I want for people.
Yeah. And, you know, some of the greatest things lie on the other side of fear.
They lie on the other side of fear. And the thing is that, you know, whatever you do, you don't have to have, I got caught in this. I thought that I had to have a certain status or have a certain amount of money in order to feel like I was contributing something very well to society.
Yeah.
And I was on the wrong end of the scale. Money comes with service. It comes with how well we can serve. People will pay you for 3 things: for demand for what you do, the ability to do what you do, and the difficulty of replacing you. That's when you get paid in those 3 areas. Now, before that, it's up to us to really collectively think, what can I create out here that is meaningful to me, that comes from the heart?
Yeah.
It comes from the heart. And how can I use that to touch lives? And if I really want to strategically do more, how can I use my brain to find the right people to show me how to make money doing that?
Awesome.
This is where the next steps come in for people.
Awesome. Great stuff. All right. So why don't we transition and go into our speed round? And so
right.
I'm going to ask you 5 questions, one at a time, and then you just give your quick answer.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. So what does Adrian Starks do for fun?
Bowling. I love bowling. I actually have my own bowling ball, my own bowling bag, and my own bowling shoes. I'm that guy.
All right. 10 or 5 pin?
10.
10 pin. Oh, nice.
10 pin.
All right.
No guardrails. 10 pin.
Okay, good. All right. Well, what's your favorite quote?
Oh, you know what? My favorite quote. I always keep it on my desk here. I'm just going to read it to you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And this is coming from, what's her name? I may be mispronouncing her name, but Ayn Rand or Ian Rand. She is a literary author. It says, do not allow your fire to go out. Spark by irreplaceable spark in the hopeless swamps of the not quite, the not yet, and the not at all. Do not let the hero in your soul perish in lonely frustration for the life you deserved and have never been able to reach. The world you desire can be won. It exists. It is real. It is possible. It is yours. I say that every day to myself when I'm sitting at my desk.
Wow. Nice. That's a great way to start your day.
Yeah, if people don't know that name, it's Ayn, last name Rand, Rand. She is known for The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, that rings a bell. Now, who has inspired you the most?
Socrates, Greek
Socrates.
philosopher. I have him tattooed on my forearm. Actually, I can't show you today, but yeah, Socrates.
Nice. Cool.
His quote was to know thyself. And I liked him because he was the only person during his time that really spoke from the level of, I am going to not follow by what you say. I'm going to question what you say and see if you know your own truth. It's called the Socratic method, right? So it was like, I'm going to answer your question with a question, because he believed that it's all about what you don't know. This is where true wisdom kicks in. I know a lot of stuff, but I am more curious to know what I don't know. That's how I grow.
Nice. Nice. Now, what is your favorite book or movie?
My favorite book. Ooh, that's a good one. So I would say, okay, so my favorite movie is Willow. I don't know if anyone knows it, but I was born in 81, so I'm 38. But Willow was a movie that came out in the 80s, it's like a fantasy movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the earlier version of The Hobbit or Lord of Rings. And my favorite book, I would have to say, I have so many books, Paul. This is such a tough question here. One of my favorite books would be Ernest Hemingway's book, The Old Man and the Sea.
Nice.
And if I was going to choose a self-development book, I would say that my self-development book would be As a Man Thinketh.
Cool. Awesome. Now, last question in the speed round, what is a really good tool or resource that you could recommend to our listeners?
I would say a good tool and resource to use for listeners when it comes to being inspired. I'm just going to say this. They can go to my website. I have a lot of inspirational things there that they can draw upon, championup.net, or they can go to my Facebook page, because what I like to do is I like to provide daily inspiration as well as new things that are out there as far as research on stress and frustrations and how to deal with that. And if they want to have something that can take them away from a frustration they have, then they can go to my website or my social media pages to get some more optimism and uplifting and answers.
Awesome. Excellent. So that's how people can connect with you further. And
yes.
I checked out your website. Love it.
Thank you.
Easy to navigate. Looks good.
Thank you. Yeah,
All
that's
right.
how they can connect with me. Absolutely.
Awesome. And do you have anything else to add? Do you have any offers or anything like that?
Yes. So if someone wants to talk further with me about some questions about change, about growth, and how they can implement that, I would love to do a complimentary discovery call with you. Just go to my website and there's a tab that says take action. Take action.
Cool.
Click on that and just fill out that information. And then I will be in touch with you shortly to have just a quick chat with you and to see if we can talk about how to help you moving forward and growing forward in your life.
Awesome. That's excellent. Now, one last thing. You have a book that's coming out, aren't you? We're in the process of finalizing that, aren't you?
Yeah. So I just posted today. So the big question for people were like, you're Adrian, you're posting every day on Facebook and these paragraphs are so great. And there's like book form. When are you going to create this book? And I have been waiting for the right time because I really feel like I want people to get a part of my deeper self speaking to their deeper self. And I've been looking at, what do I want to say? How do I want to say it? So this book is going to have a lot of different things that people haven't seen before on Facebook that I'm revealing. A lot of different philosophies and poetry and inspirational pieces and even just gold nuggets that will make their mind just go, whoa, didn't see that way. And I'm excited to share that in early spring because I really want to give as much as I can. And this is what's important too as courageous creators out here on the planet. And Paul, you're one too as well. We give what we can, what we have, where we are, and we keep giving and giving and giving. And so the story goes and we pass on that bucket of love to everybody to share from. And so that's what I want. And that's why the book is coming out, because people keep asking me about it. And I was like, okay, need to make this happen. And now it is happening.
Well, what's the title? Do you have a title?
Well, the title is still I'm still waiting on it right now. I'm
Okay.
not going to reveal the title just yet, but I will reveal the title a little bit later. Maybe the next couple of weeks. We're still working on that. But the title will be something that is very common to the language that I use. Just put it that way.
Excellent.
So,
well, I'm telling you, I am extremely looking forward to that book. And I'm glad people were in your ear telling you to write a book. Because if they didn't, I'd have to tell you, you better get on that. But you already are. So that's good.
Thank you. Thank you. And Paul, I want to thank you for this opportunity. This is an amazing show that you guys have. And, you know, when we spoke, I was like, I absolutely want to be on here because you have provided an amazing platform for people, you and Jennifer. And I am so excited to be a part of this platform, because without you, without people like yourself and leaders, our messages couldn't be heard. We couldn't reach other people. So I want to just thank you for that, for being a courageous creator and creating this platform.
Well, Adrian, you are very welcome, and right back at you, because without guests and inspiring people like you, then we would not have a show called The Inspiring Show. So thank you very much, Adrian. It was an absolute pleasure chatting with you today, and I hope we can do that again in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Paul. And it's been a pleasure to be here today.
Awesome. Take care.
Take care.
Wow, great interview, Paul. Well done.
Oh, yeah, it was an excellent interview. Adrian provided great stories, and he gave us some really good tips on how to embrace change to grow forward.
So you can access everything about Adrian, all his links, in our show notes on the website at inspiredinfluencers.com. And if you'd like to join as a friend of the podcast, we'd love your support. Click membership in the menu on the website, inspiredinfluencers.com, and join our email list to get updates and gifts from us and our guests. All right, so we look forward to seeing you over there and on Facebook in our Inspiring Show group. Thanks for listening today, and we'll see you next time.
And remember, you have a story, and your story matters.